Okay, now we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So today we will start with divine origination. Actually, last week we have already talked about divine originations briefly. Now we have to go a little bit more in detail. The first thing is about avijja. Even last week we have already explained many things about avijja. But now in today's explanation, we can find in many different texts. So there are 8 conditions that avijja will cover. So the first one is not knowing the noble truth of suffering, as we have already known that the noble truth of suffering is the dukkha satya, among the 4 noble truths. Then second, the 2, not knowing the noble truth of the origin of suffering, as we have known, samudaya satya, the second noble truth. Then the third, or 3, not knowing the noble truth of the cessations of suffering. This is the third noble truth. We call nirodha satya. Then 4, not knowing the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. We also call magga satya. So these are the 4 noble truths. That means avijja will cover these 4 noble truths. That means when we have avijja, we cannot understand the 4 noble truths. So if we can overcome avijja, or if we can uproot avijja, we can know the noble truth of the 4 noble truths. Then again, not knowing the past existences. So when we have very strong avijja, we cannot know all the past lives, or all the past existences. You may have known some small kids, or small boys or girls, when they are very young, they very little boy and very little girl, they can remember their past. We can find many cases like that. Even in Western society, they still have that kind of boy or girl, that kind of kids. So that means when they have very less ignorance, they can know their past existences. When we have very strong ignorance, especially when they grow older and older, they will forget their past. That means they cannot know as they have known in their childhood. Similarly, 6, not knowing future existences. Of course, this has not yet happened, so we cannot know. So that means sometimes when we can overcome, or when we can subside ignorance, we can also know future existences. Then 7, not knowing past and future existences. So that means when we have different types of people, there are some people, they don't accept the past lives, but they still accept their future lives, like a heavenly pleasure or something like that. But there are some people, they don't accept both past and future. They just accept present lives. So anyway, so when we have avijja, it can cover all types of existences, present or past or future. Also can be past, future. Okay, now 8, not knowing the divine origination. So that one is very simple, as you have already learned divine origination. Of course, I have a relationship. So when we can subside the ignorance, we can know the divine origination. That means when our Western faculties become very strong and powerful, we can know it. So we also have to know that the opposition factor of avijja is vijja, which I mean knowledge. Okay, now, okay, as as already shown in the slides. You can say characteristics, function, manifestation, and prosemic cause. So in the characteristics I mentioned, ignorance has the characteristics of unknowing the dhammas. So here, although we say anyana, anyana means not knowing or unknowing, but we can also say oppositions of knowledge. So sometimes we have a knowledge, so we can know everything clearly. Sometimes we don't have knowledge, then we have oppositions factor. So that's why not only knowing the truth, actually, but also knowing untruth also. Sometimes we think wrong as a right, right as a wrong, true as untrue, untrue as a truth. All this kind of misunderstanding can be considered as an anyana, not knowing the truth. Or we can also say knowing untruth, oppositions of jnana, knowledge. Then also samosarana rasa, its function is to confuse samosa. So confuse means sometimes we may not know truth and untruth. We may get confused which one is correct, which one is right. This is called samosarana. Another charana patupatana is manifested as concealing the individual essence of Dhamma. We can say like a charana, right? Charana means mostly we just say this is short notes. Okay, here one more thing about individual essence of Dhammas. Although we say individual essence, we can also understand that all the nature of ultimate reality. So when we have avijja, it will cover the nature of ultimate reality. That means because of covering or concealing, we cannot know the truth. Now, in every single ultimate reality, we have already learned the characteristics, the function, the manifestation, the prosemic cause. Yeah, when we talk about individual essence, that means it also called characteristics of ultimate reality. That means if we have ignorance, we cannot know ultimate reality. Okay, now the last one, asava patupatana. The prosemic cause is the khangas, asava. So we can also say sometimes like a taint. There are many different explanations. There are different the translations of asava. We can also understand like a mental intoxicant. This is also called asava. But anyway, so these are the characteristics, the function, the manifestations of the avijja. Now we also have to explain a little bit more about it with the next one, right? This one is asava. Asava means to flow because of like a liquid. So they will flow up to the topmost plane of existence or up to the highest inside knowledge, change of lineage, quadruple. So that means asava will flow very up. Right? So actually, not almost all the water will flow downstream. They don't flow upstream. In the case of asava, it will go upstream up to topmost plane of existence. Also, up to the highest inside knowledge, quadruple, change of lineage. This is called asava. Okay, now he also mentioned it's like a long-time fermented intoxicant. So we may have many different types of intoxicants in our life, like any wine or some, you know. Okay, now modern society like maybe 100 years wine or fermented wine or something like that, right? They are proud of their product. Anyway, the main thing is this is like a long-time fermented intoxicant, asava. In the samsara, we have already asava, like a long-time fermented. We have habits of all the asava. Okay, this is it. The meaning of characteristics, function, manifestation, prosemic cause. Now we also have to introduce different classifications of avijja. Actually, today I have already listed out many things. So after sending my transcript to translator or maybe organizer, I also feel a little bit upset. Oh, too much, right? Too much, actually more than enough actually. If I'm gonna complete today, maybe I have to connect this next week, maybe, right? Because I have more free time, so I'm just trying all the transcriptions. But anyway, I will try my best. Okay, now again, grouping 1. We can also like a single 4, right? Now that's the apathy, no practicing. So in this case, we can also say like a not understanding the truth because of not practicing also, right? So let me know we are not practicing the right way, the right path. Also, mithya-patipatti, practicing the wrong training. This is mithya-patipatti. So that means we are not practicing true paths, the right path. We are practicing the wrong path. This also can be considered as ignorance. So if we don't know what's the right and the wrong path, we may follow anything we like. Then this can be apatipatti, not practicing the right path, or mithya-patipatti, practicing the wrong training, the wrong path. So this is also a little bit risky when we have avijja. Not only that, we also have many other explanations grouped in 2. Group in 2 means, okay, here we have only, okay, the 2, 4, right? Also, sasankhara prompted and asankhara unprompted. So as you have already mentioned, sasankhara. So sasankhara, actually in Bidama, we have already learned what is or asankhara, sasankhara, prompted, right? That means encouraged by somebody, encourage ourselves. This is called sasankhara. If nobody had to encourage us, we call asankhara. This is called unprompted. So sometimes when somebody gives wrong information, we may get confused. At that time, we can also say sasankhara. Sometimes we ourselves find many problems. Then we may get confused. Also sasankhara. Asankhara means naturally it is very complicated. We cannot know the truth. This is also called asankhara. Sometimes when our minds are not ready, we have to follow ourselves, right? At the time, sasankhara. Then our mind just naturally follow it. This means asankhara, unprompted. Okay, similarly, we also have a group in 3. We can also say 3, 4. Divide into 3 different categories. Sukhaya Vedanaya Sambayoga associated with unpleasant feeling. So that means avijja also can be associated with unpleasant feeling. Oh, sorry, pleasant feeling, sorry. So when we talk about pleasant feeling, although we have ignorance, we feel happy. Right? That means we have pleasant feeling. We feel comfort. Similarly, dukkha vedanaya samyoga, sorry, that's associated with unpleasant feeling. In this case, also the same. Sometimes we have confused with discomfort. Adukkha sukha vedana samyoga, also the same, associated with neither pleasant nor unpleasant. In this kind of case, then we have more natural feeling, neither happiness nor unhappiness, when we have avijja, ignorance. So these are also called the classifications of ignorance. We also have like grouping 4. With the next one, grouping 4. This was already mentioned before. Dukkha satya apatti veda, not realizing the noble truth of suffering. We have already explained the one before. Samudaya satya apatti veda, not realizing the noble truth of the origin of suffering. The nirodha satya apatti veda, not realizing the noble truth of cessation. The magga satya apatti veda, not realizing the noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering. These are related to 4 noble truths. So that means when we don't know Four Noble Truths, this is the power of ignorance. When we kind of realize we are subsiding the ignorances, if we subside ignorance, Four Noble Truths will become obvious and clearer and clearer. We can understand clearly. Okay, not only that, we also have another group, grouping 5. So here, grouping 5 means Deva Gati Arinava Charana, concealing the danger of divine destiny. Then you may think, oh, why is it danger in divine beings, right? How is it possible to have danger in the divine beings? Actually, when we talk about danger in the divine destiny, for example, there are some types of deva. When they get angry, they can pass away. Manobrasika deva. There are some deva, divine beings. Then if they don't eat, then they will pass away. We call Keda Brasika deva. Right? So that means sometimes they are very forgetful because of enjoyment, sensual enjoyment. Then also they can be fall into fourfold state anytime. When we study in many suttas, for example, like a Subbrahma, one of the Deva, he's going to pass away. He will be reborn in the hell. He was not very happy. He came to see the Buddha, and he listened Dhamma talk, and he can attain noblehood. He can continue his divine life. So there are many other cases. That means even in divine beings, they also have many other danger. They may more jealousy each other. You know, some of them have very many attendants, also very beautiful divine mentions, bigger divine mentions. Also, they may have very beautiful divine vehicles. Then they may be jealous of other. Then there are also many akusala. So when they have this kind of mind, it also can be the cause of born rebirth in the fourfold states. That's why danger, even in divine life, they have danger. We call considering danger of divine destinies. Okay, now one more thing we have to explain here. When we talk about Deva, it also covers Brahma. Brahma also simultaneous born living beings. They also call Upapati Deva. So mostly in Brahma worlds, they may have more jhana. But they can be reborn in the Deva realms or in human realms again. Then if they cannot maintain their jhana, or when their jhana power is finished, over, then they also have many other danger. They can also be reborn in the fourfold state. That means from Brahma world, they cannot directly go to fourfold states. After being born as a human being or divine beings, they can be reborn in the hell or as animal realms. So another one is a Manusa Gati, Arinava Charana. Considering the danger of human destinies. That was very obvious in our community, right? Everybody has sickness. When we go to the hospital and when we have medical checkup, we all have sickness. And not only that, there are many unseen danger. Wherever we go, almost everywhere, dangers are waiting. Also, there are man-made danger. There's a natural-made danger. There are many disasters. Right? Sometimes man-made danger, man-made problem. Sometimes natural make problem. So we have to encounter all the difficulties, all types of danger. This is called Manosa Gati Arinava Charana. Nitya Gati Arinava Charana. That one is very clear already. I don't need to explain, right? Considering the danger of hell destinies. I don't need to explain that one because in the hell, no happiness, always suffering. Similarly, for Beta Gati Arinava Charana, considering the danger of ghost destiny. You may have already known some types of ghosts, for example, ever hungry ghosts, or like a burning body ghost. They will suffer all the time. So there are many different types of goals also. We call beta gati. So they are also a kind of lower born living beings. So they will suffer a lot. Compared to human being, their suffering is very bad. Worse than human being. Okay, now 5. Titichana gati arinawa charana. Concealing the danger of animal destiny. So this one also very clear. As animal, right? It's not that easy to survive. What our people have, or if they have to survive, they have to kill each other or many other problems. So this is also called the danger of animals. So there's one saying: when we release from big hell, we can be reborn in small hell. So when we release from very heavy woeful states, then we also can be reborn in the small woeful states. That means after being born in the hell, we can be reborn as animals. When we make many mistakes again, we can be reborn in the hell again. So if we go into woeful states one time, it's very difficult to release from it. Okay, the main thing is, here when we talk about ignorance will cover all the types of danger and then suffering in different lives, in different existences, different destinations. This is also called the power of avijja. Okay, now we have to move to the next one, grouping 6, right? So that means mentality in 6 doors that takes 6 types of objects. Okay, for example, we have enjoyable colors, beautiful colors, desirable colors, for example. So that means we think this is the desirable, beautiful. Then when we take, not knowing the truth, right? When we take, not knowing the truth. If we know the nature of anicca, dukkha, anatta, we will not think is it desirable or beautiful. Similarly, the sound we like, the smell, the taste, the touch we like, or the thought we like. So if we know the nature of impermanent, suffering, non-sexual, we may not think about it. That's why, in the case of avijja, there is also not knowing the truth, like anicca, dukkha, anatta, asubha. Also, the nature of ultimate realities. So briefly, these are the definitions of avijja for today. And not only that, here I also have made the table, cause and effect. From time to time, people also ask, what's the cause of avijja? Many people also ask me this kind of questions. So whenever we study divine origination, we start with avijja paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnanam, very clear, avijja paccaya sankhara. But what's the paccaya of ignorance? We can also say asava paccaya avijja. So here, the taint of sensual desire, this is called kama sava. The taint of craving for existence, this is called bhava sava. The taint of wrong view, ditta sava. The taint of ignorance, avijja sava. These asavas are the cause of ignorance. So as we have already know what sensual desire, we also have already know what the craving for existence, right? Mostly we just expect better lifestyles, better new life. We may have many expectations. We may have many desires. Now, all the things can be considered as a taint, asava. This is lifelong, samsara long. Like I always say, fermented, a long time fermented intoxicants. Okay, now we also have already talked about the cause of asava. We call jaramarana moksha. That means not knowing or not truly knowing the nature of aging and sickness. Then it will be the cause of avijja. It will mention very many things in detail. But anyway, now we have to move to the next one, sankhara, formation. So formation cover all types of wholesome and managing unwholesome dhammas. Last week, we have already talked about punyabi sankhara, apunyabi sankhara, Kaya Sankhara, Vachi Sankhara, Chitta Sankhara, also, right? But now today we have to introduce again what's it really called avijja, sankhara, characteristics. Again, the next one, characteristics. So here I mentioned abhisankarana lakkhana. Formation have the characteristic of forming. So that means it will form. Right? This is called abhisankarana. We can also say like abhisankarana also like a condition. It will make many conditions to be reborn or something. This is called abhisankarana. The ayuhana rasa, their function is to accumulate or endeavoring. We can also say like a kind of producing, right? Then tirana pachupatthana, they are manifested as volition. So the volition also a kind of encouragement to do actions. The avijja padathana, their approximate cause is ignorance. So we have already talked about avijja paja sankhara, that's fine. In the case of different originations, the approximate cause will be ignorance. But not only that, we also have to introduce many different classifications of avijja. Okay, now Sangha 4. Sasawa Dhamma. The Dhamma is subject to taints. Okay, here when we talk about taints, subject to taints, that means there are many Dhamma that will take asava as an object. So sometimes you may have already known, right? Kusala or akusala, it can take many different objects. So now many Dhamma that can take as an object, asava as an object. They are called sasawa Dhamma. Then vipaka Dhamma. Here we have two different words. Dhamma, right? Vipaka Dhamma. It doesn't mean only vipaka Dhamma. If we say vipaka Dhamma, it means only resultant consciousness or resultant Dhamma. But here when we talk about vipaka Dhamma, when we say vipaka Dhamma, that means there are many Dhamma that can produce results. That means it can be kusala and akusala. This is called vipaka Dhamma. So whenever we have to say this vipaka Dhamma, we must remember, right? All the kusala also can be vipaka Dhamma. It can produce vipaka Dhamma. Also, all the akusala Dhamma also can produce this result, also vipaka Dhamma. But here, in the case of sankhara, we cannot talk about path knowledges because path fusion, power produce the fusion. It's not for samsara. That's why you can only maintain consciousnesses, maintain wholesome Dhamma, also unwholesome Dhammas. Okay, twofold. So in twofold, we also have many different groupings: kusala, wholesome; akusala, unwholesome. As we have explained before, punyavi sankhara can be wholesome. It can be such as be wholesome, material or immaterial. Akusala will be unwholesome. Then you have already known this one. We have 12 types of akusala citta, right? All are called unwholesome sankhara. Now that's the Preta limited and Mahakata exalted. So Preta means such as pure consciousnesses. They are such as pure, wholesome and unwholesome. The Mahakata means jhana Dhamma, material and immaterial. These are called jhana. So again, we have to move to the next one. Another types, another group, grouping 3. Hina and Majjhima. Hina means inferior, Majjhima means median. Why it doesn't mention superior? Right? So Hina means inferior means such as pure consciousness. Majjhima means jhana consciousness. Why it doesn't mention superior Dhamma? Superior Dhamma will be path and fruition knowledge. That's why they cannot be here, because it cannot produce samsara. So when we study Dhamma Sangani, we can find this kind of statements, Hina, Majima, Panita, something like that, right? Okay, now grouping 4. Mechata Niyata, here I just write down only with certainty of wrong view. Also, Aniyata, uncertainty. Okay, when we talk about Mechata Niyata, it also can be, whenever we talk about Mechata Niyata, the whole certainty, right? It also can be like a mighty karma. If somebody has already break precepts, like already committed mighty karma, their destination is certain. That's why they will be reborn in the hell. That's very clear. That's why it's called Mechata Niyata. Another thing is persistent wrong view. That means unchangeable wrong view. So there are some people, they have very strong wrong view. They grasp their wrong view very strictly, very seriously. Then if they cannot change, they will be reborn in the hell. This is called Mechata Niyata. So whenever we talk about Mechata Niyata, we have to remember these two things: mighty karma and persistent wrong view. So all are akusala chitta. Now we also have like aniyata. Whenever we talk about aniyata, that means we call uncertainty, right? All the remaining lokiya, demanding kusala karma and also akusala karma, they are uncertain. They are uncertain. We cannot know how they will produce. That's why we call this called aniyata. So in the case of sankhara, aniyata also cover both punyavi, apunyavi, and anjavi. Okay, now we have to move the next groove. Again, we have already mentioned 3, 4. The 4 actually, right? Punyavi sankhara, wholesome formation that comprise of essence sphere wholesome consciousness and five material wholesome consciousnesses. Even last week we have already introduced this one. Apunyavi sankhara, a wholesome formation that comprise of 12 unwholesome consciousnesses. Ananjavi sankhara, unshakable formation that comprises of 4 immaterial wholesome consciousnesses. So if we say in brief, all the mundane, wholesome and unwholesome consciousnesses, they are called punyavi sankhara, apunyavi sankhara, and anjavi sankhara. We just divide into 3 groups. Okay, now we have a few more steps remaining. 4, right? So this is also called Kavasayaka Yoni Samvatana, leading to 1 born reverse. Sansitaja Yoni Samvatana, leading to Matsya born reverse. For example, like a 1 born reverse, like a human being, some animals, 1 born living beings. Sansitaja Matsya, like for example, some type of insects, some bacteria, they can be born in the moisture. Also, Antaja Yoni Samvatana, leading to egg-born reverse. So that means like bugs, some of the bugs, like a crocodile also, right? So they are born from eggs. That's when they are called Antaja Yoni. Upapadika Yoni Samvatana, leading to spontaneous born reverse. So this one is very clear to divine beings, also some Vedas, also Brahmas. They are spontaneous born. They were born, having also spontaneous born. So when we talk about sankhara, our sankhara will lead to one of these 4 reverses. For example, if we have accumulated many unwholesome karma, we can be reborn in the egg bonds or matsya bonds, right? A little bit lower renance. Also, if we have done some kusala karma, we can be reborn as a human being. Also, 1 born reverse also can be, if unwholesome karma, it can be animals, also 1 born reverse. So similarly, akusala karma can be reborn in the hell as a simultaneous born, also as a ghost, simultaneous born, Also, when we have kusala karma, then they can be reborn. We can be reborn as a Deva or Brahma, spontaneous form. So that means Sankhara also can lead to all this kind of four stages. We call four types of yoni. Okay, now when we talk about 5-4, again, Panchakati Kamita leading to 5 destinations. We have already mentioned before, right? 5 destinations. Deva, divine beings, Manusa, human beings, Niraya, hell, also Veda, ghosts, Tirichana, animal. We have already talked about 5 kati in the past. Also, the Sankhara also can lead to one of these stages. Okay, one more thing here. Last week, when we talk about Kaya Sankhara, Vaji Sankhara, Chitta Sankhara, I haven't explained in detail about it. I forgot to explain the one. So now I should explain the one. Why is it really called Kaya Sankhara, Vaji Sankhara? Okay, as we have already known, Kaya Sankhara means we have body intimation, body gestures that can make people know our inner desire. This is called Kaya Vinyati, body intimation. So when we talk about Kaya Sankhara, there can be wholesome, also can be unwholesome. For example, all the 12 types of unwholesome also can produce body intimation. Not only that, we also have like a sense-sphere consciousness, wholesome consciousness. It also can produce body intimation. So there are 12 unwholesome consciousness, 8 wholesome consciousness. They can produce body intimation. If we say another way, there are 20 types of consciousness that can produce Kaya Sankhara. But last week, when we talk about Kaya Sankhara, Asata Pasata Kaya Sankhara, right? We just say very simple things. We have another explanation. That one is 20 consciousness can produce body intimations. These 20 are also called Kaya Sankhara. The same 20 can also produce Vaji Sankhara, bhava intimation. Then they are called Vaji Sankhara. That means the same 20 consciousness can be Vaji Sankhara also. What about Mano Sankhara? Actually, then all the wholesome, especially, we can say 12 unwholesome, also 8 sincere wholesome consciousnesses, out of the 20, they also can produce Mano Sankhara. Not only that, we also have 5 material wholesome jhana, 4 immaterial wholesome jhana. We can say 29 consciousnesses. Okay, if I repeat, 12 unwholesome consciousnesses, 8 sensitive consciousnesses, also 5 material wholesome jhana, 4 immaterial wholesome jhana, altogether 29. Then they can produce Mano Sankhara. They also call Mano Sankhara. Okay, so these are another explanations. Okay, so what are the causes of Sankhara? Here I mentioned ignorance. We have already explained many different types of ignorance in our previous slides. Now, when we talk about effect, all unwholesome dhammas and mending wholesome dhammas, they are the effect. Especially, although we say dhamma means unwholesome means more to be understand. Actually, we also understand like a consciousness, but here it can be any types of wholesome or unwholesome. Okay, now again, we have to move the next one. The next one, okay? Vijnana, consciousness. So when we talk about vijnana, vijnana is actually resident consciousnesses. So there are many different types of resident consciousnesses. For example, 19 rebalancing consciousnesses in Brisandi. They are also called vijnana. Then 32 mundane resident consciousnesses in poverty. During the lifetime. They are also called vijnana. According to Dhatu Katha, vijnana is 89 consciousnesses. That means all types of consciousnesses. They are called vijnana. But today we have to explain more in detail because although we say 90 rebalancing consciousness, right, we have to know their causes. Similarly, when we talk about 32 mundane resident consciousnesses in poverty, we also have to know their causes. They have different causes. That's fine. When we talk about vijnana, we also have to relate to sankhara. That's why there will be many different things. Okay, again, we have to move to the characteristics, function, manifestation, the main cause of vijnana. Vijnana lakhanam, vijnanam. It has the characteristic of cognizing. Cognizing means realizing or knowing the object. Open Gamma rasa is a function to go before. As we have already learned in Dhammapada, the mind is a forerunner. Manobopen Gamma Dhamma Manosata Manomaya, the first stanza of Dhammapada. He mentioned that's why mind is a forerunner. It will be the leader of all the mental factors. The function is to go before. Then another thing is the Bodhisanti Pachupatthana is manifested itself as rebalancing. Because here in the case of divine origination, it will function it will be manifested as a rebalancing. The Sankhara Bharatthana, cause of formation. Another one is Vataramana Bharatthana. Actually, Vataramana, what to me the base? Aramana means the object. They also can be the prosemic cause. So without the base, without the object, the mind cannot arise. That's why they also can be the prosemic cause of vijnana characteristics. Now we also have to explain many different classifications of vijnana. So it will be many different classifications. Single 4. Lokiya Vipaka, manual resettlement. So we have to remember previous statements in Sankhara. In the case of Sankhara also, it must be mundane, wholesome, and unwholesome. But here also the same. It must be mundane resettlement in the case of vijnana. So like a supramundane resettlement is like a fruition knowledge. It cannot be produced by Sankhara. It's produced by half knowledge. But now 2-4. Saituka with root causes, Ayatuka without root causes. So here we have to introduce something about roots or the cause. The roots mean we have 3 unwholesome roots, such as greed, hatred, delusion. I think everybody knows these 3 types of causes. We also have 3 wholesome roots or 3 wholesome causes. Alobha, non-greed or generosity. Adosa, non-hatred or loving kindness. Amoha, non-delusions or wisdom. So these are wholesome causes. In the case of vijnana, there are some vijnana, some residing consciousness, they don't have any root. They may have cause, but no root, no wholesome root, no lobha, no dosa, no moha. No alobha, no adosa, no amoha. There are some residing consciousnesses, they may have roots. Root means mostly wholesome root or unwholesome root, right? They may have. Okay, so the main thing is, when we talk about vijnana, we have to summarize 2 different things. One is some are with wholesome or unwholesome roots. Some will arise without any roots, any causes. Then we also have to move to the next one. Grouping 3, 4, right? Grouping 1. Kama bhava priyapana. Kama bhava means as including in sensual existences. So later we have to explain many different types of life, many different types of existences. And now here we just introduce very small, very minor things. Kama bhava. Kama bhava means sensual realms. We are born as essential beings, then this is called kama bhava. So some receptions will arise in sensual realms. Similarly, rupa bhava priyapana as included in material existences. So this means some resident consciousness, some consciousness will arise in material realms. Arupa bhava priyapana as included in immaterial existences. So that means some resident consciousness or some consciousnesses, they can arise in Arupa Brahma worlds. So as we have already known, when we talk about Kama Bhava, that means we human beings, animals, hair beings, goats, animals, all are Kama beings, sensual beings. Like Rupa, all are Brahmans. Arupa, all are Brahmans. So we may have different existences, we may also have different residing consciousnesses. We're now grouping 2. Sukha Vedana Sambayoga associated with pleasant feeling. So as we have already known, pleasant feeling, Sukha. Sometimes when we are born as a human being, there's some human beings, they were born as a somanasa. They were born with happy feeling, right? There are some other living beings, they will be born as a equanimity, with equanimous mind. That's why, okay, among the many living beings, there are Sukha Vedana Samyoga, so they with pleasant feeling. There are different vijnana, different feeling. 2. Dukkha Vedana Sambayoga associated with unpleasant feeling. Then 3. Atukama Sukha Vedana Sambayoga associated with neither pleasant nor unpleasant. This is spelling mistake, right? Neither pleasant nor unpleasant. So in this case, we call equanimous feeling or neutral feeling, neither happiness nor happiness. In our daily life, we may have neither pleasant nor unpleasant feeling. So many different consciousnesses may have many different feelings. That's why they divide into 3 different groups. Okay, we have to move group 2, next group 3. Group 3 means, okay, here I'm using ahetuka without cause roots, we already mentioned before. Then duhetuka with 2 roots. Hetuka with 3 roots. So we have already explained ahetuka, unrooted or no rooted. Duhetuka. When we say duhetuka, it can be ignorance and greed, ignorance and hatred. This is also called duhetuka. Sometimes we can also say no greed and no hatred. This is also called duhetuka. So when we say duhetuka, 2 roots, we can divide into 3 different categories. We can say that among the unwholesome, greed and delusion, hatred and delusion. Among the wholesome, no greed and no hatred. This is called 2 roots. When we say 3 roots, we don't have unwholesome 3 roots. We just have wholesome 3 roots. That's why no greed, no hatred, no delusion. This is called 3 roots. There we many different consciousnesses, they may have different associated roots. That's why we can say Duhetuka, Tihetuka. Okay, now 4, 4. Actually, this is a mistake. Okay? We don't have 4 gati, we have 5 gati. Be careful, right? This is a mistake, right? Okay. We also have like another one is a 5, 4, right? 5 yoni. Actually, this is a mistake. 4 yoni. I have already mentioned 4 yoni, right? For example, 4 yoni means we may have 1 bone, right? 1 bones, egg bones, mycelial bones, spontaneous bone. They are called 4 yoni. Okay? For the next one is 5 gati. 5 gati also we already mentioned. Deva, divine beings, Manusa, human, also Nidya, hell, Tirithana, animal, Vedami, goats. We call 5 units, right? So that means they were arise in different living beings. That's why we divide into 5 different groups or 4 different groups. So they are called Vijnana. Okay, now when we talk about Vijnana, we also have to know a few more things about cause and relationship. Here you may know 2 different things, right? Cause, we have 2, cause only 1 cause, we have 2 different effects, right? So, for wholesome Dhamma and maintaining wholesome Dhamma, reviving consciousness and horizontal consciousnesses. So, anyway, when we talk about reviving consciousness, or this is one mistake, or maintaining resident consciousness, sorry, second one must be or maintaining resident consciousness, sorry, right? So reviving consciousness can be, for example, when we talk about avijja pattaya sankhara, sorry, sankhara pattaya vijnana, in the case of sankhara, it can be wholesome or unwholesome sankhara. So in the brief sandhi, it can be, there is also wholesome sankhara, it will produce our new life. That's what we can say, reviving consciousnesses. In our lifetime also, all this karma can still produce resident consciousnesses. That is why we can say all maintain resident consciousnesses. Okay? So move to the next one. Nama Rupa. Nama Rupa with the last part for today's Dhamma talk. Okay, then it covers all types of consciousness according to Dhatu Katha. But when we talk about Nama Rupa, there are many different types of Nama Rupas. Later we have to explain a little bit more in detail. Then, whenever we talk about Nama Rupas, we have to say start Nama, right? Mentality, the characteristics, the function, okay? Nama, Namana Lakana. This is the characteristic of bending, because it's like inclination or inclining. The mind will incline to the object. That's why Namana Lakana. And Sambayoga Rasa, its function is to associate. When you associate with many mental factors or many including consciousness. The Avani Bhoga Pachupatana is manifested as inspirability or its components. That means that is it, the 3 aggregates. Okay, one more thing. Yeah, we just say inspirability. Inspirability means Nama will arise as a group. We're going to separate. So all the things will work together to know one object. That's what we call Aviniboga. So when we say unseparable, right? So when taking objects, they will work together. That's why they are called Aviniboga. Previous one, now you finish. Vijnana Bharatana, right? The broadly call is a consciousness. So we have already explained before, Vijnana Pattaya Nama Rupa. That's why in this case, Vijnana, the consciousness is the broadly cause of Nama Rupa. Here also Nama, right? Now Rupa again. The next one, Rupa. When we talk about Rupa, Rupa and Lakkhana, it has the characteristic of being molested. Actually, in the case of Rupana, we can also understand as like a changing or changeable. Or changeability, we can also say, right? I mean, Rupa is always changing according to the conditions they have. For example, when hot, Rupa will change. When cold, Rupa will change. When hungry, it will change. When thirsty, it will change. When biting by insects, it will change. That's why this is called Rupana. Then Vikarana rasa. Its function is to disperse or ordination. So that means it will change to another form. Another one is Abhyagata Patupatana. It manifests intermediate, indeterminate. Indeterminate means it cannot be wholesome or unwholesome. Abhyagata, neither wholesome nor unwholesome. This is called Abhyagata. Indeterminate. So again here we also say Vijnana Bharattanam. What they call is consciousness. So these are called Rupa. Now we also have different groupings according to different categories. Okay, now we have to start with Singapore. When we talk about Singapore, it is a Vijnana Nisaya. Oh, sorry, Vijnana Sanisaya. As dependent on consciousness. So that means they will arise dependent on consciousness. That's what we call Vijnana. So one more thing here. When we say Vijnana, this means we can say Vijnana Khanda. When we say Nama, it can cover all mental aggregates. But here, when we talk about Nama Rupas, here Nama means only mental factors. 3 aggregates. That means feeling aggregates, perception aggregates, and information aggregates. Then Karma Pachaya, as having as a karma as condition. So here also I have to explain a little bit more about karma conditions. So when we talk about Nama Rupa, if we say karma is the cause, it can be receptive consciousness, receptive Vijnana. If we say Vijnana Nisaya, the first one, the first category, if we say Vijnana Nisaya, it can be any kind of wholesome or unwholesome. Because this is mental factors. You know what? 2, 4. Here I mentioned Saramana, having an object. Anaramana, not having any object. So here, one more thing, right? When we say Aramana or Anaramana, now we must be careful, right? Sometimes then they may have objects, particular objects. Sometimes they may have, right? They not unclear object, for example, Naramana. But anyway, when we talk about the Nama, having an object or not having any object, actually, without objects, Nama cannot arise. Right? That is why sometimes they will take object by themselves. Sometimes because of the other supporting, they can take objects. That's why it will be 2 different conditions. Okay, now when we talk about one more thing, sorry. One more thing. When we say Saramana, sorry. When we say Saramana, then it can be all types of consciousness or mental. Sorry. This is only Nama mentalities. Anaramana means this is only Rupa. Right? We can divide into 2 different groups. Rupa cannot take any objects, sorry. Right? So Saramana means all the nama. That means it can be added as a consciousness or mental factors. Naramana means all the materialities. So for example, like iron transcendency, it cannot take color as objects. It will be impinged by, it can be impinged by color. That's why it cannot take objects. So another one is threefold, right? Adita, past, Anagata, future, Abhijubana, present. Actually, this one is also very obvious. Even our Vipassana, the Buddha has said many times about present, past, future, internal, external, and so forth. So there are many rupa in the past. Also many nama in the past. Similarly, in the future, in the present. So now even our present moment now we are talking, right? When I'm talking, of course, many mind-produced materialities will strike each other in the vocal cords, and it will produce the sound. Also, nama rupas working together to produce the sound. That's why present nama rupa. Similarly, when you are listening, then you have to use your eye transcendency, right? Although your mind also catches the voice as objects working together to hear the sound. This is a present moment. So anyway, briefly we can understand as past, present, future. Three different types. Okay, now again, we have to move the next one. The next one is different, another four yonis. Right? So we have already mentioned 4 yonis. So already mentions Namarupa will be in different types of lives. So for example, like a one-born living beings. We also have Namarupas. We also have Matsya-born living beings. They also have Namarupas. Now we also have egg-born living beings. They also have Namarupas. Then we also have spontaneous born living beings. They also have Namarupas. So only a few things here, a few things different. When we talk about spontaneous born living beings, there are many different types. For example, hair beings, they may have full Namarupas. Ghosts, they may have full Namarupas. And some devas, they may have both Namarupas. But among the Brahmas, there are some Brahmas, they may have only Rupas. For example, Asanyasata. They don't have mental aggregates. They may have only material aggregates. Then similarly, we have immaterial realms. They don't have mental aggregates. Sorry, they don't have material aggregates. They just have mental aggregates. That is why they may have different types of aggregates, different types of Namarupas, according to different lifestyles, different existences. Okay, now we have 5 gatis. We already mentioned Deva, divine beings, also one of the gati. Manusa, human being, also one of the gati. Niraya, hair beings, also one of the gati. Peta, ghosts, and also Ditichana, animals. So 5 different types of gatis. Again, according to different life existences, we may also have different Namarupas, especially Deva. I have already mentioned, right? Divine beings, Brahmas, both of them are called Devagati. So, as I have mentioned in Yoni, 4 types of Yoni, right? They also mentioned simultaneous yoni. Both Deva and Brahmas have simultaneous born. That's why among the Brahmas, Asanyasada may have only mental aggregate. Arupa may have only mental aggregate. Right? So sorry, Asanyasada may have only material aggregate. Then Arupa may have only mental aggregate. But for other Brahmas, they may have 5 aggregates. So later, when we explain, we may have to understand different types of aggregates. For example, 1 aggregate, 4 aggregates, 5 aggregates. We human beings and divine beings, animals, hair beings, or ghosts may have 5 aggregates. So as we have mentioned, Asanyasada may have only 1 aggregate. Right? There is only Rupakanda, material aggregate. Then Arupa Brahma may have only 4 aggregates, because they are mental aggregates. So later, when we talk about Bhava, we have to explain all these things again. Okay, now we have to talk about cause and effect relationship. No, now I finished with Teva. I have to go to the table. Okay. So cause, Vipaka Vijnana. Vipaka Vijnana means resultant consciousnesses. Then the effect here, associated mental factors and mind-blowing materialities. So here, Vijnana Pattaya Nama Rupam. So we have 2 different types of Vijnana. Vipaka Vijnana and Kama Vijnana, 2 different types. So when we are going to talk about Vipaka Vijnana, that means resulting consciousness in the revolving consciousness. Okay? So, as we already mentioned before, when we talk about Vijnana, it can be resulting consciousnesses. It also can be all revolving consciousness also can be all resulting, the mental resulting consciousness. We have already mentioned 2 different types, right? Okay, now here, Vipaka Vijnana. When we talk about Vipaka Vijnana, associated mental factors can be Nama. Vijnana Pattaya Nama Rupam. Vijnana is Vipaka Vijnana. Nama is associated mental factors. They will arise together in the revolving consciousnesses. So, revolving consciousness will associate with different types of mental factors. All the mental factors will be the result, the effect. The resulting consciousness will be the cause. Then, Vipaka Vijnana can also produce mind-producing materialities. This is consciousness. That's why it can produce mind-producing materialities, embody Jidisha Rupas. That's why whenever we talk about Vijnana Pattaya Nama Rupam, we have to understand 2 different ways. The first one is Vipaka Vijnana. Then it will produce associated mental factors and mind-producing materialities. Mind-producing materialities. Then Kama Vijnana. So Kama Vijnana will be same as Sankhara. It can be all types of Kama. Kusala, Agusala Kama. Especially mundane Kusala and Agusala Kama. So it can produce resulting consciousnesses. Also together with associated mental factors. Then since the core is a Kama, then it will be Kama produce materialities. So when we talk about different Vijnana, right? Then there will be different Namarupa. So divided into 2 groups. Among the effects, you can just look at the effects. The first one is only associated mental factors, in body we call Jidasika and mind-producing materialities. Second one, resulting consciousness together with associated mental factors. Also, Kama-producing materialities. We have 2 different types of Nama-rupas. So, if you see Nama, both of them are resultant, right? So, another thing is Rupa, mind-producing materialities and Kama-producing materialities, totally different. So when we are understanding cause and effect relationship, we have to use these two methods. Vibhaka Vijnana also can be the cause, also associated mental factors, memory also can be the effects. We also have to discern both. For example, in the revolving in consciousness. Okay? Also in every single consciousnesses, then there will be mental factors. They also can produce mind-blow materialities. They can arise together with mind-blow materialities. All the things can be considered as Vijnana Pattaya Namarupa. Again, Kama Vijnana. Since we have already talked about Kama, sure, it can be all types of residing consciousnesses in this body life. For example, when we talk about entanglement process. So we have like a Bhavanga states, Ajita Bhavanga, Bhavanga Chalana, Bhavanga Bachira, all are residing consciousnesses. They are produced by Kama Vijnana. Also, the Kama Vijnana also can produce Kama materialities. So that means Bas Kama is the cause, then Bhavanga, Ajita Bhavanga, Namarupa will be the effect. We can discern all the things. Similarly, Bhavanga Chalana, Bhavanga Bachira, all are residing consciousnesses. Vajana Vachana is functional. Then we have Chakku Vijnana, residing consciousnesses, Samdhichana, Sandirana, all are residing consciousnesses, but we discern the same. But one more thing here. In the case of Chakku Vijnana, it cannot produce mind-blow materialities. But it also can arise together with mind-blow materialities. Be careful, right? Because many other consciousnesses can produce mind-blow materialities. Anyway, then we may have many other consciousnesses, like Javana. After that, we may have the Dharamana. The Dharamana are also residing consciousnesses. So when we are descending periodically, we have to use both methods. In the first method. In the first method, sorry. Okay, now the last part of today's Dhamma talk. So this is just introductions or the conclusions of all types of Namarupas, Vijnana Pattaya Namarupa. The Nama is the mental factors that associate with refining in consciousness. It is also called mental factor that associate with 32 residing consciousnesses. So as we have mentioned before in the table, these are, we have different types of Nama. Now here I just mentioned different types of Nama. Again, the second group, Rupa, is Kama Brajya materialities in Bodhisanti, also Kama Brajya materialities in Bhavati. This also can be two different. So for example, when we talk about Vijnana and Bhavati, also can be or mind produce in the table already mentioned mind produce materialities, right? Vibhaka Vijnana. Now, according to Dhatu Katha, Nama is 89 consciousness, Rupa is all 28 materialities. Because in Dhatu Katha, we have different approach. That's why it will be a little bit different from other texts. Okay, so today we have already talked about different types of, different explanations of different originations, different approach. But anyway, I haven't finished all types, right? We have to continue another group. Salarana, Phassa, Vedana, Tanha, Upadana, up to Bhava. It will take time to explain, but it's also possible to analyze more in detail. Anyway, so as we have mentioned last week, the dependent origination is very deep and profound. So like a small rabbit is throwing into the ocean. Its feet cannot touch the floor of the ocean. Similarly, whose imaginary, we cannot understand the dependent originations. But with the practice, we can understand the divine origination. Even the Buddha has already talked to Venerable Ananda. The divine originations seem deep and profound. It is also really deep and profound. That's why ordinary people cannot understand the divine originations. So now we have to learn by text. Later we have to practice practically to understand the divine originations. All the priyati, learning, can be supporting cause of priyati. The pratipatti, sorry, practicing. So by learning, we can understand top level of, some level of Buddha's teaching. By practicing, we can also understand deeper level of Buddha's teaching. We also have one simile. Learning is like a water in the lake. Then, if there's a water, sorry, learning is like a dam, making a dam. Water is like a priyati, the pratipatti practicing. If we are going to save water, we have to make a dam. Then if there's a water, then there can be lotus. Lotus will bloom beautifully. Similarly now in our society, we have to learn like a making dam. Then we have to save water. This is the practicing. Other the blooming lotus is a Pativedanta, understanding or penetrating the true Dhamma and the Nibbana. Okay? So may you all be able to practice the Buddha teaching, or may you all be able to realize final cessation and not suffer.
Question 1. Dear Sayadaw, do Brahmas experience happiness only when entering into jhana, or can they experience happiness even outside of jhana? If a person is reborn into the Brahma realm, do they have to practice meditation again to attain jhana? If they can naturally enter into jhana without practicing, can they just enter into jhana at the time of death to be reborn in the same Brahma world? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. So let me do Brahma experience happiness. Okay, that means, for example, they also have eyes, they also have ear, right? When seeing Buddha or when listening to the Dhamma, they can also feel happiness. They can also experience outside jhana. So one more thing, right? When they are born in the Brahma worlds, they can enter into jhana. They don't need to practice again, right? But one more thing. If they want to achieve higher jhana, they have to practice. Then okay, it depends on how they live in their worlds. For example, there's some Brahma, they just enjoy the bliss of jhana. So when their jhana power finish, okay, we have one simile. When we shoot an arrow into the sky, as long as the power of the bow is right, reinforce the arrow, that means the force arrow, it will go up. When the power or speed finish, it will go down. Similarly, if they don't practice for higher attainment, higher jhana, their jhana power will be finished. They live without practicing, just enjoying, right? Then they can be reborn in the human realms or deva realms. It depends on how they live in the Brahma worlds. Okay?
Dear Sayadaw, Upeka, the first question, Upeka Sandirana, Patisandhi, is caused by the small objects at the near death moment. So why it cannot appear as Marana Sanat Kawana at the time? This is the first question. Second, for Somanasa Sandirana, why this type of mind cannot become Patisandhi mind? And then third question, when the object impinge on the five door, how does it cause bhavanga chalana? And mano dwara bhavanga mano sambasa. That's all, yeah. And this impingement by the five door objects, is it the object of bhavanga mano sambasa? And also for this bhavanga chalana, the impingement on that is it because of the vayodhadu of the impingement by the five objects of the five doors? Means the five objects of the five doors has vayodhadu, means wind element. It's impinged on the bhavanga chalana. That's why it has this instability of the bhavanga. That's why it's called bhavanga chalana. This is the question. Number 4. If someone cannot discern all these phenomena, can it affect his attainment of Margaphala?
Okay. The first one is Upeka Sandirana, right?
Yes, Yado. Upeka Sandirana, Tati Sandi. Is it because of small objects during Marana, before death, and why it cannot become the Marana Sanat Javana mind?
Actually, Upeka Sandirana is a Judy Jita or Buddhist Sandi Jita or Bhavanga Jita, right? Before that, there was Marana Sana. So this one is something missing. Okay? Question is some missing. Upeka Sandirana can be only Buddhist Sandi, Bhavanga, or Judy. It cannot be Marana Sana, right? Marana Sana can be Agusala. For Agusala, we can say, like for hair being, for example, right? Or animals, they will be Agusala Javana. After Agusala Javana, Upeka Sandirana will arise as a Buddhist after that. Sorry, a Juti after that. There will be. Sorry. Sure. After that, there will be death, right? Sorry. After that, there was a Buddhist Sandi, sorry. Agusala Javana, after that, they normal. It depends on their life. There will be different duty. After that, Upeka Sandirana will arise as Buddhist Sandi, right? It can mean many different functions. So in this case, something missing in the question. Okay? Another one is Samada Sandirana. Why Samada Sandirana cannot be Buddhist Sandi, right? Okay, so that means when somebody has to be reborn as an animal, they cannot feel happy, right? When they have to be reborn in the hell, they cannot feel happy. That's why we cannot say they are born as happy beings. That's why we cannot say Samana Sandirana as a Buddhist Sandi or Bhavanga or Juti. Another thing is like a Bhavanga Chalana. That question is about Bhavanga Chalana, right? The question is very messy. Okay, we have one simile mentioned. So Bhavanga Chalana means, for example, Bhavanga will take past objects. But when we see when the color impact on the mind door and the eye door, at the time, you cannot take previous objects very stable. Also, it cannot take new objects. And that's why we can say Bhavanga Chalana, the trembling Bhavanga. So we have one simile mentioned in the Vidama. There is a big drums with two faces. So in another face, there is a small fly resting on it. But one man will strike another face of the drum. The fly will run away because of the sound. So that is why the Bhavanga, when the colors impinge on the eye door or the sound impinge on ear door or minded at the same times, then the bhavanga is a trampoline. That means previous object is not very strong enough. Also cannot take new object. We can say this called bhavanga chalana, right? Then the last question is what? The last question?
Last question is, if someone cannot discern all these phenomena mentioned by question 1, 2, 3, would that affect his attainment of Magga Phala?
Okay. So that means when we are going to talk about cause-effect relationship, we also have to discern all the causes, all the effect, all the relationship. If we cannot know, it will affect our practice. Okay.
Question 3. Dear Sayadaw, may I clarify if Sasava Dhamma means dhammas that can take asava as object, or dhammas that can be taken by asava as object, please? Thank you very much.
Okay, so that means we can also say another way, right? Sasava means it can be the authority. We can the object of asava also possible, right? Another thing is it will take asava as object also possible. Either one is okay. So they have the same relationship, not much problem. Okay.
Question 4. Dear Sayadaw, is it allowable for a bhikkhu to drive a car? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, this one is a very, very difficult question, right? Modern society, okay, at the time of the Buddha, no car. That's one very difficult to answer this question. Anyway, in Buddhist history, we don't have any driving vehicle. That's why we should not drive a car. I think if the Buddha stay alive now, and he may not allow to drive a car. Okay, so from my point of view, we should not drive a car. Okay, next one.
Question 5. Dear Sayadaw, are there cases, for example, Brahma reborn to Deva world, Brahma or Deva reborn to animal or 4 willful realms? What are the reasons that such happens for higher beings to be reborn to lower realms?
Okay, it can be many different reborns. For example, okay, Brahma cannot be reborn in the 4 states directly. So Deva can be reborn 4 states directly. It depends on their past karma also, their enjoyments, right? For more, Deva is very clear because they enjoy social pleasure all the time. Then it's more possibility. For Brahmas, okay, they can be reborn in the human realms or Deva realms first. After that, if they make mistake, they can be reborn in the lower realms, 4 states. So it depends on their karma or their inclination. For example, some Brahma, they have been born in the human realm many times. Their mind will incline to human realms more, right? If they have been born in the Deva realms more, their mind will incline to Deva realms more. It depends on their mental inclinations and also their habit and habitual karma, right? We cannot say exactly why. We cannot say only one reason. Another one.
Yes, Sayadaw, how to have a pure mind in our day-to-day lives. As lay people, we may have many worldly goals, ambitions, and desires to become successful. Can the Sayadaw explain how to balance those desires and how to have a pure mind? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Actually, in this case, you can have many goals or many ambitions or many desires to become successful. This is okay. We cannot say it's a mistake, right? One more thing is that as long as you don't make something harmful to other people or any community, any member of human beings or animals or any other living beings, will be good enough. So one more thing here, right? Sometimes we may have improper desire or unwholesome desire. Is the problem. For example, we may want to achieve our goal with a wicked way. Okay, for example, okay, practical way. Like even in Myanmar, we can find many people in many places, right? That you may cheat in the examination. You have higher mark, right? For example, to have more destinations or something like that. In this kind of case, this is improper desire, right? As long as you have proper desire, then you're trying your best, when not harming any people. In this case, it will be fine. Okay, next one.
Dear 𝐸𝐸𝐷, is it allowable for a 𝐸𝐸𝐴 to drive a car, ride bicycle? These are not one of their precepts. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, for people's devotion. Okay, when we talk about precepts, right? We just have to know the background of precepts. Almost all the precepts laid down by the Buddhas are for faith. For example, when people see bhikkhu doing something, then they may lose their faith. That's why Buddha laid down the rules. Actually, there are many reasons of Bodhimokka rules. Okay, one example, to gain faith and unfaithful. So that means when seeing some bhikkhu or some leader or 𝐸𝐸𝐴, then unfaithful people may have faith in him or her. Then they may have faith in Buddha teaching. Right? For this kind of purpose, Buddha laid down the rules. So in this kind of case, we have to think about people's faith, right? If our behavior spoil people's faith, this is not really good things. That's why, from my point of view, if we don't drive a car or ride bicycle or ride motorbike, it will be much better. Okay, the next one. Wow.
Dear 𝐸𝐸𝐷, regarding the comparison between what is explained in the Visuddhimagga with Dhatu Kata. 1. For Sankhara Pachaya Vijnanam. Vijnana here is in Visuddhimagga refers to 32 Lokiya Vipaka Citta. But in the Dhatu Kata, it is all 89 Citta. What is the difference between these two, please? That's question 1. Question 2, for Vinaya Pachaya Nama Rupang, in the Visuddhimagga, name refers to 52 Cetasikas, Vedana Kanda, Sanya Kanda, and Sankhara Kanda. But the slides shows that in Dhatu Kata, Nama refers to 89 Citta. What happens to the Cetasika, please? Also, as in Vijnana, is also 89 Citta, and Nama also 89 Citta. Would the cause and effect be the same in this case, please?
Wow. Okay, so that means it was a very heavy topic, right? Now, one more thing. I think he has already studied Pitama, that's why he has already compared many different things. So I think if you have studied the Dhatu Kata, right? For example, there are many different grouping. Many different grouping. For example, even Rupa, then there are many different angles, many different grouping. That's why sometimes Dhatu Kata, the way that we approach Dhatu Kata will be different from other texts. For example, Sankhita, Asankhita, or something like that. There are many Sangha, Asangha. There are many different approach, right? So for example, Sangha means associate, Asangha means dissociate, right? There are many different approach in Dhatu Kata. That's why it will be a little bit heavy topic to explain that one. Okay, if I remember, maybe I should send the map of Dhatu Kata maybe a little bit, right? It will be easier for you to understand. But not on the spot, it was a very heavy topic. Okay.
Dear 𝐸𝐸𝐷, I want to become successful in meditation and attain Nibbana. But it's hard to choose between meditating and sensual pleasures. My mind is still hesitating, so I can't fully focus on meditation right now. I am also worried that I might not succeed in meditation. Can the 𝐸𝐸𝐷 please give some advice?
Okay. So one more thing, right? To be successful in meditation or to attain Nibbana, we have to cut many things. We have to reduce many extra duties. If we can cut down many different things, we can achieve higher attainment, right? So one more thing here. Here you also mentioned, you also worry that you might not succeed in meditation, right? One more thing. Worry is not really good things. You must determine to practice. I have already given some series of Dhamma talk in BMC in Singapore, especially about Buddha Vasa. I haven't finished all the topic. Anyway, the main thing is, before Buddha attained noblehood, or maybe before Buddha attained enlightenment, then there are some explanations, some similes about firewood. So it mean we cut the trees. Is it wet? Because newly cut tree is mostly wet, right? Then he may soak in the water for some times. After that, he may take out of the water and he may make fire by using fire sticks, rubbing against the firewood. It cannot produce fire because internally, naturally it's wet, also it's soaked in the water. So similarly, there are some meditators. They also have external enjoyable things because external sensual pleasures. Internally, they also have very strong defilements. So when they have these two, they cannot achieve any higher attainment. Then they have the second simile. Then he may cut a tree. Is it totally wet? But he didn't soak it in the water. He may rub it against with fire sticks. It cannot produce fire because it's naturally wet, although it does not soak in the water. Similarly, there are some meditators. They don't have any external enjoyable things, but internally, they have very strong desire, very strong defilements. Then they cannot attain any higher attainment. If we can cut both, for example, we just cut the trees, just drying, make it dry for a while. After totally drying, then we can rub fire sticks on the firewood, it can produce fire. Similarly, if we can cut all the external enjoyable things, also if we can reduce our sensual desire or defilements little by little, then we can improve faster and faster, right? So that means all the practice does not come from only desire, only mere desire, right? It just comes from the practice. So when we are when we have like ambition to achieve Nibbana, sure, we must do for it. We must willingly do it. We must be diligent for it. Then it will be successful, right? Okay, next one.
Yes. Oh.
Okay, this is Vietnamese.
Yeah, Vietnamese said all. Can I explain that? Chúng con trong somewhere that say in all the akusala dhamma, so the materiality is the most dangerous one. Can I explain that?
Actually, materiality. Okay, we cannot say like all the materiality. Niyata materiality, persistent wrong view or unchangeable wrong view, is very, very dangerous. Very dangerous means then, although the world system disappear, then they have to be, although no hair in this world system, they have to be reborn in other hell, other world system, right? So they cannot be reborn in the good destination. That's why this is very serious, very dangerous, similar to mighty karma. That's why we can say this is very risky, right? Very dangerous. Okay, next one.
Yes, Yado, it's related to the question just now about Ubeka Sandirana Patisandi. Before that, it has Marana Sana Jawana. Why this past life Marana Sana Jawana did not become the Patisandi of next life? Means Marana Sana Jawana of past life give rise to the Upeka Sandirana Patisandi of this life. So the question is, why is that the past life Mana Sanat Jawana means of the past life doesn't become the Patisandi of this life directly? It changed to Upeka Sandirana.
Okay, this is the lower existence, right?
So
okay, lower existence means, for example, hair beings. They may have akusala karma. Okay, for example, they may kill living beings happily. Right? They may feel, when they kill, they are happy, for example. Then when they have happiness, is very strong akusala karma. In the case of akusala, if we are happy, it's strong akusala, right? Similarly, in the case of kusala also, if we're very strong, this can be stronger kusala. Okay, now he killed happily. Then when in the other moment, it will appear. Now when pass away, so it will produce Ahetuka Brisanti. Right? Upakasalina Brisanti. So in this case, we cannot say why. This is a Chitta Niyama. Right? Some of the Chitta Niyama, we cannot say why. We cannot answer why. Because of the karma is a lower born karma, so that it can produce lower realms, that's why it becomes Upakasantirana.
Dear 𝐻𝐸𝐻, can Sotapans or stream enterers and once returners choose to be reborn only in the Deva and Brahma realms and not come back to the human realms? Is it possible for a non-returner to be reborn in the Brahma realm without entering into jhana at the time of death?
Actually, okay, when we say non-returner, right? Okay, the first question, right? For Sotapan or one returner, Sakadagami, right? If they have a jhana, sure, they can choose. But we have one statement. If somebody has born in the Brahma world, they cannot come back to the human realms. If number one, we are born in the Brahma world, they cannot come back. They will not come back. Okay, what about once returner? Although they cannot attain jhana in the whole lifetime, in near death moment they can attain jhana. It doesn't mean they can enter into jhana, right? They can attain jhana. They call Mekha Siddha jhana, and the power of their path knowledge, their fruition knowledge. They can attain jhana immediately. They can be deeper in the Sudhavasa realms. Right? Okay. Next one.
Dear 𝐻𝐸𝐻, about this self-attachment means some idea that he attached to. This self-attachment, is that different with Sakaya Ditti?
Okay. When we say Sakaya Ditti is like a everlasting entity, right? We may believe in everlasting entity. This is called Sakaya Ditti. Self-attachment can be like similar to Bhavadana. Okay? Etta vata cha amehi sambadam bunya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu sabbe satta numodandu sabba sambati siddhya idhamme nyatinam hotu sukhita hondu nyatayo idhamme nyatinam hotu Sukhita hondu nyatayo idhamme nyatinam hotu Sukhita hondu nyatayo idhamme punyam asawakaya waham hotu idhamme punyam nibbanasa pajayo hotu mama punya bhagam sabba sadanam bhajemi te sabbe me samam Punya Bhagam Lavandu Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu.